Hi Aries, and welcome to your energy reading for the 24th of April 2017. A weekly reading from the 24th. Pulling out 7 cards today. And the first card we have is the 8 of Wands. Now the 8 of Wands talks about lots of activity, lots of communication. If we've had a time where everything's felt a bit stagnant and quiet, things are kicking up. This week there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of things going on, a lot of communications, a lot of responsibilities to take care of. And that's set next to the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands talks about protecting ourselves. It talks about getting ourselves to a safe place, feeling like we need to have some form of protection around us. In other decks, we see a boat sat in choppy waters, and it only has to go over the rocks to get into the harbour and a more secure and safe place. It talks about exerting ourselves to the full, putting in every last bit of effort. We can be protecting our job here. We can be protecting our property or defending our actions. It can talk a little of putting ourselves in a stagnant position. Maybe we've been in the past or made sacrifices in the past that makes us feel justified that we don't have to do anything now. We've got ourselves to a safe place, and that's it. We can just stay in this safe place. Which then can bring us to an energy of, are we holding on too tight? You know, we can't grow, we can't expand if we don't move. So have we got to look at how tight we're holding on to things? It talks about determination, facing challenges, you know, being prepared to make sacrifices, being prepared to put the hard work in for what we want. And it does talk about fears and how fears can stagnate us and hold us in a place where we feel safe rather than move forward. You know, protect what you've got by all means. But you've got to free up your thinking. You've got to create some mental space to start planning to move out of this safe haven that we've found ourselves in. Then that is accompanied with the Knave of Wands, which is the Page of Wands. And the Page, I see, if it is somebody else coming in, a young energy, and who's can be charming, chatty, good conversation skills. It can be a messenger bringing news about a creative project, about travel plans, or a new job, some kind of new employment. It can talk of fun flirtations in love, or the influence of a creative person around us. or we're discovering our own creative potential in this card. We can talk of the entertainment industry with this card. So maybe there is something that we have looked at or thought about or would like to do in an entertainment field. And if that's the case, this now is the time to express that. It's about expressing our unique talents in whatever form we can. Dance, pictures, paintings, writing, entertaining fielders somehow, music, but letting our own creative talents shine through. And that is sat with the Knave of Swords. Now the Knave of Swords, the Knave of Wands does speak to the air element. So we could be talking an Aquarius, Libra or Gemini. That may be this person. There may be this creative person or that's around us at the minute. It could very easily be a young energy from somebody else, but it could be how we're carrying our own energy at the minute. And that comes right alongside with the Knave of Swords. So we've got another page here. This guy's young at heart, so he could be an older energy, but when he comes to you, he's got a young energy feel to him. He could be young at heart. He sometimes can have a secret agenda. If he is coming in without the best intentions, he can be someone who uses words and slander against you. But he does appear witty and charming when he comes in the right element. He does like attention. And he can talk or bring messages of legal situations. It could be a complaint at work. It could be a contract that needs to be signed, or something's not right within the contract. It does talk a lot about paperwork. So I would suggest if there is anything legal or paperwork wise we're looking at this week, make sure to look at everything, single detail. Read it inside out. Don't have the young, carefree energy. Utilise and make time. Make sure you look at that contract very well. It is Mercury retrograde at the minute. And if we can avoid signing contracts and doing things like that, what are going to be long-term year as well, to do so until Mercury goes direct again, which I think is about the 3rd of May. I think. Don't get me wrong, if it was something that the seeds were sown and the ideas were set and there's been talks and plans about since before Mercury went retrograde, by all means sign that contract. It's something that was established and set off before the retrograde hit. But even in that case, make sure you look at the fine print on anything legal that we're signing or reading this week. Then that is sat next to the Six of Swords. Now the Six of Swords for me is one of my favourite cards in the deck. With the Six of Swords, we realise we're in a place where we don't want to be. And we're going to move away from it. It could be a mindset, it could be an actual place. We could talk moves here. But we assess our thoughts, we assess our values, we assess what is really important to us and what we worry about, and spend time and energy on what isn't important. We lay down all the swords that we don't need anymore. Only the major important things we bring together, we put in our backpack and we take with us to move on to a more peaceful and calmer life. I don't know if you guys can see that, but as I move the card up and down, from this side we get a reflection where it looks like he's closing his eyes. So we're going to a lot more peaceful, calmer place, and only taking what we need. Fantastic card. With that, we have the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups is, or can be, a Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer. But she can be any other sign that's coming into your environment in a loving, nurturing. This woman is quite aware of unconditional love, but she's quite mystical as well. She can be quite psychic. She can be in touch with intuition. She's loving, she's caring. But out of all the queens, probably the most intuitive, the most psychic. A lot of these water signs, you know, they know the soul. They know the soul better than they know the mind. They know their insides. They know their intuition. And then that's sat with the Five of Wands. Now the Five of Wands can talk about tests, competition. It can talk about competition in sports, scenarios, things like that. But it just talks of tests, maybe testing ourselves. It talks of change, as all the fives do. So there's a change in our passions, maybe. There's a change of how we look at something, maybe, which we've changed here in the Six of Swords anyway, by only taking what we need. That's a fantastic change of mindset. But we can talk to friendly competitions here. So when we're expressing ourselves with the Knave of Wands, Knave of Wands can also talk of travel. But he can talk of travel for sporting events, for artistic pursuits. So we could be talking sports competitions, sports, that kind of conflict and competition. The more fun side. We have a natural progression from the Eight of Wands to the Nine of Wands. Now the Eight of Wands is all the activity. The Nine of Wands feeling we have to defend ourselves or put up some kind of a barrier to protect ourselves and get us into a place of security. It is a natural progression, which is a very good sign when they come up in the tarot anyway. We are making the right steps forward. The two knaves together could be people. We could be literally talking about an Aquarian, Aquarius, Gemini or Libra here. Leo, Aries or Sagittarian here. We could be talking about you. You could be the Leo in this card. And we have the Aries in this card, sorry. And we have the Swords energy of Aquarius, Libra and Gemini. We have the water element of Pisces, Scorpio and Cancer. Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer. Her insight does kick in, and with the Knave of Swords here, and in this deck especially, how intent he is on pointing out something on that paper. You've got to pay attention to that book. You've got to pay attention to that writing. I think the successful moving on from this situation to where we want to go is looking at the finer details and trusting our intuition, tapping into our intuition this week. Speaking our truths. Searching for the truth. The Knave and the Knight are in search of the truth. You know, that's what they've gone out there for. They want the truth. They want the answers. And he's searching in that book for the answer for you. She searches the realms of ether for the answers. Between the two, they can bring this success of moving on and moving away from hard times, emotional situations, to a more calmer, balanced place. Then, as we stand, the 3 clarifiers that have come out, we've got another 2 8s here. Now we've already got an 8 where we start at the beginning of the reading. And they are actually different 8s. It's not the same 8 duplicated. But 8s talk about, for me, karmic situations, cycles. They talk about the gentle flow of change constantly. And the first one is the 8 of Pentacles. So the 8 of Pentacles, it's a card that shows our achievement. It shows our level of advancement in professional fields or in studies. It can be a card of the perfectionist, and knowing it's all about the fine details, the small details that make the difference. We did talk here of looking at the finer, smaller details. But with this card, you can take pride in your work because you set high standards. And even though you set high standards, this approach actually pays off for you. It works for you. Finances can improve when this card comes. It is a result of hard work. There's no two ways about it. But they come because you've done the hard work and you've committed to succeeding and taking this cycle all the way. If we are looking at sitting a test at the moment, sitting an exam, we can be pretty sure we're going to get good results when this card comes up. It can talk about going back to school and re-educating ourselves. It can talk to the commitment of a project. But it does talk about the ability to earn more and learn more, and being in a place where we understand wherever we focus our energy, we can gain rewards. And that's sat with the 8 of Swords. The Eight of Swords is all about our own mental thoughts, our own mental beliefs, and we started stacking them all up, started letting them run round in our heads, cause a mental mind mash, and we feel restricted by it. We feel we've got no choices to move. We feel we can't move. We've got too many responsibilities. We've got people depending on us. We can't possibly change that. And they're all excuses that we find to keep ourselves in what we think is this safe environment, to be honest. It does talk about change. There's no two ways about it. And we've got to change this mindset. This is the point of realising I have been holding myself back at work, in relationships, in a creative project, in my career, because of my own self-doubts, my own fears, my own regrets, my own ego. So the advice on this card is to get practical. Get practical. Talk to yourself logically. You know, for every excuse that you throw up to stay in this mental mindset, give yourself the logical answer as to why you don't. This card can talk a little bit about what other people think as well. You know, again, don't care. Don't entertain what other people think. It's not their life, it's your life. We can be a little bit of a pushover when we're in this situation as well. You know, we're quite prepared to give everybody else our time, our energy. So it does talk about maybe a need to pull that back and focus more on ourselves and our needs. And our needs at the minute are to clear our head of all the ways that we limit ourselves in our beliefs of what we're capable of. And the final card we've got is the Three of Pentacles. Now the Three of Pentacles does talk of, it can be a scenario of three, but it's talking about acknowledging the work we do. Now we've had two cards here that talk very much about how skilled and crafted we can be, how we pay attention to the smaller details in our craft. This is a card again about acknowledging the work. Receiving positive attention for the work that we do. You could be making a speech and get a claim at the end of it that it was a good speech. You could be doing a demonstration of your unique skills somewhere, and someone publicly gives you credit and recognition for it. It can do with the home. It can talk to the home, and it talks about maybe doing bits of work on it, or maybe it's time to sell it and move on, but we can be renovating or redecorating and getting it ready. Maybe we're having visitors, or maybe we are wanting to sell it, but that could be the other side of what we're showing off. You know, our interior design, the flair that we have, somebody else appreciating that. It talks about showing off the work and being proud of it, and the promise of future success. with this card, but the acknowledgement from somebody else that your work is as credible as it is. There's not a lot in these cards, the main cards, that scream work to me. So maybe these are talking more in, it could be a creative passion, I suppose. Some kind of passion. Maybe we write poetry and we do a public reading and we get recognition for it. It does look more on the creative field with the amount of passions that we have showing up here. Maybe something comes in that sparks our creative field and our passions. With that said, Aries, I'm going to leave that there for this week. Thank you very much for coming to visit the channel again, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Have a good one.